Hi there, Father Mark Riley from St. Peter's Parish here in Massena and Louisville. Maybe a week or so ago, I just sent an email out with a picture of a stained glass window of a bird, and I asked if anybody might know where it is in one of our churches and what it means. And I promised I'd get back to you on that. There were a few good guesses, but I'll start to give an answer now.
Mark,
So,
what are you up to?
oh, hey, Father Tojo. Well, I was just going to talk about that email that I sent last week about the stained glass window image of that bird, the mystery bird.
I know that bird.
The mystery bird,
The
yeah.
pelican, yes.
The one I was going to tell him about.
Pelican and phoenix, yes. I love those birds.
Yeah,
they represent a lot of things.
They're good birds. They're
I love
really
birds.
beautiful
A lot of
images.
birds.
Yeah, they're really good images of.
Speaking of birds, it's spring season. We have cardinals.
It is spring.
I like kingfisher. Have you seen kingfisher?
I like
It's
the
a blue
kingfisher
bird,
too. Yeah.
Blue color and parrots.
I love the kingfisher. Yeah.
Are you a bird watcher?
Kind of.
Yes. So, is that good?
So, yeah, you can just.
What is that bird? That tiny bird, which what is that? I know that bird name. I like that bird. I drew a picture of that bird too. Pelicans are good birds, but there are other nice birds like parrots, kingfishers, and cardinals. Father Mark, are you awake? I've been talking.
Yes, you have been. Yeah, we need to get back to what I was originally wanting to talk about. The pelican. Right. Now, where were we? Yes, the pelican. So, now, that pelican is found in the stained glass windows. So I sent out an email right around Holy Week, it might have been Holy Saturday, which included an image of a stained glass window of a peculiar bird with some of its young right in front of it. Invited people to tell me what they thought it was, what its significance was, and where it might be found in one of our churches. And there were some good guesses. There were some actually pretty good answers. But the answer turns out to be it's of a pelican. Yes, a pelican. And the pelican was an ancient image, pre-Christian in fact. It was an image of a bird that presumably would give life to its young by piercing its own breast or side with its own beak and feeding the young in time of where there was scarcity of food. They would feed its young with its own blood. There was also a mythical image, a mythological image of the pelican that would revive its dead young by piercing its breast and pouring its blood over its young. It would give new life to its young. So, early Christians, can you see the connection where they might say, well, yeah, you know what, it's shedding blood and actually giving new life because of blood, not because of shaving your face, but well, giving that new life because of the shed blood. The Christians were saying, that ain't no pelican, that's Jesus. And have we got the pelican of all pelicans in Christ, who gives life and feeds us by his precious body and blood. So early on in ancient and right on through to medieval Christianity, the pelican, along with another mythical bird, the phoenix, which would, in mythology, die in a fiery death and in 3 days come out of the ashes and rise again, that also was taken. So these two birds were taken as Christian symbols, and the pelican in particular, a Eucharistic symbol. The Eucharistic symbol of Christ feeding his flock or feeding his young with his own blood that he offered in the upper room and shed on Calvary the next day. So that image that appeared in the email, where can you find it? Well, if you walk into Sacred Heart Church right here in Massena, and you look to your left toward the back of the church as you're facing the sanctuary, you're going to find it in an upper panel, upper left panel. Yep. I'll think I think I can see it right now. Yeah, take a look. You see it right there? Yeah, there it is. You know, there's another panel. There's a couple of panels that you can see the pelican. There's, I think, 4 in total at Sacred Heart that I could find. There's one just the opposite side of that one that was in the email. You can see it's above the panel of Christ crucified. And you can see, obviously, the connection that the artist was making between that mythological image of the pelican with the pierced side feeding its young with his blood, and Christ with his side pierced by the soldier's lance. Sure, that there's definitely a connection there. The priest sitting in the presidential chair looking up in the what they call a clerestory, or the clerestory of the that upper level of windows, the priest can see 2 panels, both of the pelican and of the phoenix bird, pretty much directly across from where he sits when he offers Mass. I notice it often. I look up and see that. And for folks, you might be thinking, well, shoot, I can't ever see that. It's way up there, high, way above my eye level, and I've never seen that. I don't ever see it. Well, think again. Because when you are walking out of Sacred Heart Church, do this sometime. Go out of Sacred Heart Church on the rectory side of the church, aka the Tim Horton side of the church. Cut through that hallway toward the back, and as you go through, take a look to your left, and just above the average height person's eye level, there they are. 2 panels, one of the pelican and one of the phoenix, right there. How many of you have walked past that a million times and never even noticed it? Well, now you have. Now you can go look for it, and you can also understand its meaning and significance and why it is so prevalent in a lot of our churches. Some people guess that it was in one of the side windows, a little panel at St. Mary's Church. And it was a good guess. We do have birds at St. Mary's, and I'm not talking about the bats flying around there occasionally. There's one over in the right side, in that little side section by St. Joseph and St. Anne. It looks like a swallow, really. Over in the choir side, you do have young that look like they're about to be fed by a mother bird, but it's not a pelican. It looks, again, like a swallow. So, good guess, nice try, but that's not the correct answer. But the birds are there at St. Mary's in those images. But there is another pelican, not in stained glass, but there is another pelican in another one of our churches. You see if you might recognize where this one is. Yes, come into St. Lawrence Church, and you come up the center aisle. You have to look kind of closely because it's not right there in front of your face, nor is it in dazzling images, dazzling colors from stained glass. It's on that panel right at the front edge of the altar of repose, the high altar. There it is, the pelican in bas-relief sculpture, wood carving, right in the front of the tabernacle, just beneath it. So you see, there's so much more that we can look at and find in the church if we only have eyes to see. Take a look around. You know, they would often refer to our churches decorated with stained glass and statues as catechisms in stone. So we give all kinds of lessons and images and stories to think about and to reflect on. Right there, these visuals, and they are beautiful. And there is the image of your pelican right there. And that pelican gives us an image and some food for thought on the nature of Christ and his sacrifice and what he did for us. So that feels much better now. Much better. So, there you go. That's the story of the pelican in the stained glass window at Sacred Heart.
That's Father Mark. How are you doing?
Hello again, Tojo.
I've been doing some research on birds that we were talking about.
We were talking about birds. You went and did some research.
I am not boring you this time.
Well, you're not going to bore me this time.
Sleep.
No.
See, somebody sent me this, sent us this picture.
Beautiful card of some cardinals and bluebird and finch.
Finch and blue jay, Baltimore,
chickadee,
robins.
Yeah.
Goldfinch, I like goldfinch
too. You like goldfinch too.
Once I painted the picture of blue jay.
You painted a picture of a blue jay?
Yeah, then a hummingbird too.
Uh-huh.
And I think in India we have this various other beautiful words.
Yeah.
And once I wrote a nice story about the
You wrote a nice story about the
pelican. Yeah,
The
when I was
pelican.
in seminary, and I got prize for it.
Oh my God! You get really?
Oh yes.
So
yes,
now
yes,
you want to
yes.
tell me that story, huh?
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Okay.
It's a beautiful story.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I don't want to change the topic. We have to speak about these birds. People love to hear about birds. You like birds? It's a spring season.
Yes.
Have you seen any birds now?
I have seen lots of birds.
Oh, don't sleep again, Father.
Ready for the world? No, I'm not quite ready for the world. All right. Okay. Why did I even bother shaving?